All right, being 6:30, we'll call the Common Council meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, clerk, roll call has been taken.
Correct.
Thank you. All right, look for a motion to adopt the agenda.
Your Honor, I move to adopt the agenda.
I'd like to make a second to that with the removal of item 7E3.
All right. Motion's been made and seconded with the amendment. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion's carried by all. All right. Approval of the 7/21/2026 Common Council minutes. Look for a motion.
Move to approve the minutes, Your Honor.
Motion made by Mr.
Second.
Shea, second by Mr. Besaw. Any additions or corrections to those? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion's also carried, 10-0. Mr. Dorsey, authorization to pay the bills, please.
Your Honor, I make a motion for the authorization to pay the bills in the amount of $1,234,998.28.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey, seconded by Mr. Barrington. Any additions or corrections to those? All right, hearing none, please cast your ballots. That motion's confirmed, 10-0. All right, public comment.
Good evening, Your Honor, esteemed alderpersons. My name is Diane Mullimans, and I am the Circuit Court Judge in Branch 3. I just came to introduce myself. I was appointed March 1st of this year, and I've been serving in Branch 3 after the unexpected passing of Judge Huber in December of 2025. I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. The mayor runs a very efficient meeting, so I'll be brief as I can. I'm a fifth generation Wisconsinite. My parents were public school teachers. They met as new teachers in the Marion School District in the early 60s. I grew up in West Bend. I'm a graduate of Wisconsin Public Schools, production of Wisconsin schools throughout my career. I graduated from West Bend East High School, and then I went to the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. Every time I paid my student loan off, I would go back to school. So after UW-La Crosse, I attended UW-Madison, and I have a Master's of Arts degree in Latin American history. In my time in La Crosse and in Madison, I was fluent in Spanish. I studied in Mexico as an undergraduate as well. Then when I paid off my graduate school loan, I went to law school at Madison. So I started law school when I was 30. I'm a double bucky, and then when the law school language went in, all the Spanish went out. So I'm fluent in law, less fluent in Spanish at this point in time. I graduated in 2000. I was licensed to practice for 25 years as an attorney before the appointment as circuit court judge earlier this year. And I have been serving. I'm proud to serve. I'm honored to serve. It's a privilege to serve in Branch 3 in this county. I have as my bellwethers, as I sit on the bench, impartiality, fairness, and justice for all. So it's really been a privilege to preside in that capacity and serve as the legacy and honor of Judge Huber. So I know public comment is not a place for you to ask questions, but I welcome any questions that you may have in a more informal setting. I do want to share that I don't know if anybody's been in the courthouse over the last year and change or so, but it's undergoing a major remodel. And Branch 3 is being built completely new. So it's a brand new space, and it's going to be the only courtroom that's ADA accessible. So it's a very cool design. very welcoming design. So later this fall, I'm going to invite you all to an open house so you can come and see what the courtroom looks like and have a little peek of the courthouse remodel. So I appreciate, lastly, all of your service here as local elected officials. As I shared with His Honor, without you all, the citizens would have no governance and decision-making in the things that affect their public health, their public safety, their health, and their well-being in the community. So I thank you all for your service as well. I don't want you to be offended. I'm not going to stay for the rest of your meeting, as I shared again with His Honor. I have berries that need to be transitioned into jam tonight when I get home with the air conditioning on. My hobbies are I garden. I have a very productive garden. One last thing about myself, I live in the town of Scandinavia. My husband and I are dog people, so we have German Shorthairs. We have German Shorthair number 3 and German Shorthair number 4. And German Shorthair number 4 is more sassy than 1, 2, and 3 combined. So I don't think we're going to get to number 5. I think 4 is going to wear us out. So if anybody wants some respite time with a 4-year-old German Shorthair, you look like you want some respite time.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Her name's Piper. So give me a call if you want some time with Piper. So appreciate your time, you all. So thank you for your service.
And thank you for yours as well.
You're welcome.
Good luck making jam.
Thank you.
All right, public comment. Public comment? Last call for public comment. All right, hearing none, we will mosey on to standing and special committees. Board of Public Works, Mr. Hatch.
Thank you, Your Honor. Board of Public Works Sewer Utility Commission met Monday, August 3rd. Meeting was called to order at 5:15. The agenda was approved and seconded. Public input, resident at 621 West Beacon Avenue addressed the committee and its concerns regarding the traffic speed on Oshkosh Street. The property is an intersection of Oshkosh and Beacon Avenue. She asked that there could be a 4-way stop at the intersection to try and decrease driving speeds of motorists. Motion made to second approval of the June 1st, 2026 meeting minutes was carried. Wastewater notes were enclosed in a package. Discussion and possible action for additional stop signs on Oshkosh Street. Director Garsky presented a speed study from early July on Oshkosh Street. The committee was reminded that this was an arterial collector street while reviewing the data that was presented. Discussion took place about additional stop sign on Collector Street, the meaning of a collector street, and the concern of the amount of traffic and pedestrians during the school year. Stop signs were also brought up, suggesting that we could help school signs were brought up, suggesting that we could help slow traffic. Garsky are looking to the state statutes for replacement of school signage. Motion made and second to table this until school starts and repeats speed study and possibility of additional school signs. Motion carried 6-1. Approved to recommend agreement with McMahon for design engineering of the new Sled Hill location. Director Garsky brought the agreement from McMahon to design services that were reviewed by Park and Recreation Committee due to its connection with the construction of the new wastewater treatment plant was brought to the DPW. Motion made and second, approval recommend agreement with McMahon for design engineering for the Sled Hill location. Motion carried 7-0. Director's report included in a packet reviewed by the board. Anniversaries: Ben Gruel, lead wastewater operator, 26 years. Luke Hammond, street superintendent, 11 years. Sent 2 personnel and 2 flatbed trucks to Menasha Wednesday and Thursday to help with the disaster cleanup. Mill Street and Beacon Avenue intersection design phase continues to accommodate semi-tractors and crosswalks. Downtown lighting replacement to contract specifications must have BABA certification. Mini well monitoring well will be done at the end of August. Wetland delineation about done for the Partridge Drive extension. Future agenda is the wastewater treatment plant updates. Date and time of the next Public Works meeting is August 31st, 5:15. Being a further discussion, the meeting was ended at 5:59. I'd like to make a motion, consider approval of the agreement with McMahon for design engineering for the new Sled Hill location.
Motion has been made by Mr. Hess,
Second.
second by Mr. Dorsey. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your ballots. That motion's carried 10-0.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Hess. Finance personnel, Mr. Dorsey.
Yes, Your Honor. Finance Personnel Committee met on August 5th. We just called to order at 5:15 for the minutes from July 8th. Mapping and Media Specialist Missy Kempton presented the IT support contract, renewal contract with PC Cell Solutions for a 3-year period beginning September 1st of 2026. We remain at the current $33,000 budget throughout the contract period. Motion made second to bring that to council. 2025 year-end audit was presented by Zoom by Brent Nelson, CPA audit partner at Johnson Block and Company. Mr. Nelson and City Finance Director Adke responded to questions. Upon completion of the questions, the 2025 audit, the committee thanked Mr. Nelson and Finance Director Adke. Motion made second to approve the resolution, or to bring to council a resolution to spend for the wastewater treatment plant upgrade, not to exceed 81 million. Purpose of the resolution is to allow the city to spend money for the upgrade at the wastewater treatment plant and get paid back once the Clean Water Fund financing is available. We reviewed all the TID annual reports, finance reports, and the finance director's report was discussed. Make a motion to consider the approval of licenses as recommended by the police department.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by Mr. Barrington. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried by all.
Make a motion to consider the approval of a 3-year IT contract with PC and Cell Solutions.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Roberts. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your ballots. That motion is carried 10-0.
Make a motion for the approval of a resolution declaring the intent to reimburse expenditures from proceeds of borrowing for the wastewater improvement construction project.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Frichet. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your ballots. That motion is carried 10-0.
That is all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Dorsey. Park and Recreation, Mr. Bisa.
Park and Rec did not meet this month, Your Honor, so there are no minutes.
Thank you. Planning Commission, Mr. Ritchie.
Planning Commission met July 23rd. Meeting was called to order at 5:15. Motion was made to adopt the agenda. That motion carried 9-0. May 28th minutes were read and approved. There was no public comment. Okay. Director of Community Development, Austin Dibbs, provided overview of an item. The applicant is opposed to building expansion of their existing facilities at 718 High Street. The proposal consists of a new 14-by-16 overhead door, the relocation of the existing exit door, stairs, and addition of a new concrete ramp, driveway, and apron to be used as access to the building floor level for the adjacent exterior grade. Staff reviewed the proposed against current city ordinance for the site plan approval and zoning requirements. Staff recommended approval with conditions of obtaining the right-of-way permit, building permit, fence permit, and following all applicable requirements. Motion was made and seconded, and that carried 9-0. Just wait. public hearing, proposed rezoning for parcel 331277, 162 from quarter mixed use to mixed residential low density. Director of Community Development, Austin Dibbs, presented a staff report on a proposed rezoning. The applicant seeks to rezone to a residential district to accommodate the existing and future use of the property as a residential use with the potential for any accessory home occupancies, business use. Staff reviewed the proposal against the criteria listed in the new London zoning ordinance of the city comprehensive plan. Staff found that the proposed rezoning parcel meets the list criteria in the ordinance and comprehensive plan and recommended that the plan commission discuss the overall feel for this area and the city weigh the pros and cons of the residence zoning district in the location. Chairman Ritchie opened a public hearing at 5:32 p.m. Applicant Carter Cowling addressed the planning commission regarding the request. Following additional discussions, Chairman Ritchie closed the public hearing at 5:37. Review and recommend ordinance rezoning parcel 331277-162. Following additional discussion, Gordy and Steingraber moved to table the proposed rezoning request to the next planning commission meeting. Motion failed 3-3 with 3 abstentions. Following more discussion, motion to deny the proposed rezoning request. Motion was carried 8-0. Public hearing proposal rezoning for parcel 333-069-100 and 333-069-000 for mixed residential low density to mixed residential high density. Director of Community Development, Austin Dibbs, presented the staff report on the proposed rezoning. The applicant seeks to rezone the mixed residential high density to accommodate a 19-unit townhome development on the subjected parcels. The city's 2040 comprehensive plan was previously amended to allow for a higher housing density at this site. Staff reviewed the proposed rezoning against the comprehensive plan and the new London zoning ordinance. Staff found all applicant criteria to be met and recommended approval of the proposed rezoning. Chairman Ritchie opened the public hearing at 5:52 p.m. No public comment was present. Chairman Ritchie closed the public hearing at 5:53. Review and recommend ordinance rezoning parcel 333-069-100 and 333-069-000. Following discussion, Herder Steigraber moved to council consider adopting an ordinance rezoning parcel 333-069-100 and 333-069-000 to mixed residential high density. Motion carried 9-0. Upcoming agenda items, future agenda items were discussed. The next meeting date will be August 27th at 5:15. And the meeting was adjourned at 5:57. Oh, I'm consider a motion for denial of proposal zoning map amending for 312 and 314 Pearl Street.
Motion been made, looking for a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Dorsey.
Okay, I'm considering a motion to approve the,
Hold on, we need to take a vote yet. On the same one. So motion's been made, seconded. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, please cast your ballots. That motion's carried 10-0.
Okay, now I consider motion to approve the proposal of rezoning map ordinance amending for parcel 3330690 and 33369 on the corner of County DD and Orville Drive, first reading.
Motion made by Mr. Ritchie,
Second.
second by Mr. Barrington. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your ballots. That motion's carried 10-0.
And that's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Ritchie. Economic Development, Ms. Crook.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Economic Development meeting for Tuesday, July 28th was called to order at 5:15 PM. Agenda was adopted by all, minutes were reviewed and adopted by all as presented. There was no public comment. Sarah Fink, Child Care and Preschool Director for Victory Church, provided a video and addressed the committee regarding plans to expand child care services and develop a new family resource center at the facility at 1500 Hanschke Drive. The vision is to create a community gathering place for parents to connect, foster inclusive play, support healthy development, strengthen community connectivity, and attract visitors to support the local economy. The group is partnering with the Building for Kids Children's Museum to develop a new play space for children and their families to enjoy and is actively fundraising for the development. Wapaka County Planning and Zoning Director Ryan Brown and Phoenix Mobility Rising Executive Director Valerie LaFleur presented information on the Wapaka County Catch a Ride program. The program was launched with a $3.2 million Workforce Innovation Grant in 2023. Since that time, nearly 35,000 rides have been provided, focusing on workplace transportation. Statistics on New London rides were provided. The service is now transitioning into a full public transportation service utilizing a different DOT transportation grant, which funds 50% of the service. Additional revenue will come from user fees, advertising, sponsorships, and donations. However, even with these additional revenues, the financial gap of $250,000 is still anticipated. And the county is asking for support on a per capita basis from all municipalities in the county. Brown stated that the request from the county at this time was for the city to contribute $36,000 to become a stakeholder in the program. But that amount would be reduced as additional funds are obtained from corporate sponsors. The request was for a contribution beginning in 2026. Hearst stated that internal discussions have not occurred but would need to take place to determine if and how the city would become a financial stakeholder in the program. This was only a first step in providing information on the program and determining the potential requests from the county. More discussion will take place in future meetings. Tom McHugh and Andy Boehm with Tom McHugh Construction and Score Realty Group addressed the committee on a proposal to develop a subdivision on the north side of the city. The concept includes creating 30 single-family homes and deeding 2 parcels to the city to be used for commercial development. Financial projections were provided indicating the need for a pay-to-go TID grant to make the development cash flow. The motion was made to direct staff to negotiate a TID grant development agreement with Tom McHugh Construction with terms outlined in the meeting for future committee consideration. That motion carried by all. Ben Leary with Breezewood Builders addressed the committee regarding a lapsed TID grant development agreement. Construction on a multi-use development at the intersection of Wolf River Avenue and Wyman Street did not start by December 31st, 2025, as outlined in the agreement. Leary explained that a few changes have been made in the planning of the development that have delayed the start time and that the intention is to break ground by the end of 2026. Leary is asking for amendment to the original development agreement to adjust the timeline and reduce one of the buildings from 4 stories to 3 stories to eliminate the cost of an elevator. Motion was made to direct staff to negotiate an amendment to the lapsed Breezewood Builders Developers Agreement for future committee consideration. That motion was carried by all. Hearth presented a proposal from Core Distinction Group to complete a comprehensive hotel market feasibility study in the amount of $15,000. Hearth stated that the city received a grant to pay for half of the study, and that if the study can be coordinated at the same time with a similar study being completed by the city of Waupaca, the consultant will discount the price by $500. Motion was made for the council to consider an agreement with Core Distinction Group to complete a comprehensive hotel market feasibility study for the city of New London. That motion was carried by all. The committee briefly discussed the next steps for downtown riverfront placemaking project. Croy and Bisa are working on creating a subcommittee to work with the consultant on the study. More information will be provided in the future. No chamber director's business report this month. Hearth provided information on the FEMA Disaster Recovery Center, currently set up at the New London Public Museum to assist residents affected by the April flood. Individual assistance applications must be submitted to FEMA no later than August 31st, 2026. Future agenda items were reviewed. The next regular Economic Development Committee meeting is anticipated to be held August 25th. And the meeting was adjourned at 6:39 p.m. Okay, I would like to make a motion to consider and approve an agreement with Core Distinction Group for a comprehensive hotel market feasibility study with the funding to come from the Economic Development Assigned Reserve Fund.
Motion made by Ms. Croy,
Second.
second by Mr. Bisa. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your ballots. That motion is carried 10-0.
And that is all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Croy. Utility Commission, Mr. Bassett.
Thank you, Your Honor. Tonight we have on the agenda a resolution for approval. That resolution is to extend the purchase power contract with WPPI. I discussed with Chad, we thought it would be a good idea to give a little bit of background about WPPI and bring somebody in to answer any questions you may have. So with that, I brought in Jake Olkey. He can speak to WPPI and any questions you have. If you guys don't know, WPPI is who we purchase our power from, and we've been a longstanding member of WPPI. So with that.
Thank you. My name is Jake Olkey with WPPI Energy. I'm a senior vice president there. I have had the fortune of working with the city of New London and our other 50 communities for 28 years. So I think what I would like to do tonight, I've got some slides, but I think it sounds like some of you may be new to your positions and not have entire familiarity with WPPI. So I'd like to give just a little context on what we're talking about with the contract, who WPPI is, and then in the context of why we're asking for this extension at this time. As Jason mentioned, we have had a long-standing relationship. New London was a founding member of WPPI, formed in 1980, which meant at that time there were 30 communities that came together to get some legislation changed so that we could form a municipal electric company. So WPPI operates the same way as a municipality or a municipal electric utility. We're not for profit, we're public service, and we're governed by our members. So when you see what we're referring to as the contract, it's a long-term contract for power supply arrangement. And what that means is each member, we call them members, each community that's part of WPPI is making a mutual commitment to the other, at this point, 50 communities that you will work together for the planning and acquisition of a joint power supply arrangement. What that also means is that we have one single portfolio that serves everybody, and that works through non-discriminatory rates. So we have a single wholesale rate schedule that every community pays. So every community pays the same amount. Every community has a representative on the board of directors. Jason Bessett is your director at this point. And that also gets you access to a portfolio of services, which includes everything from billing to metering to customer service, account management, and many, many other things there. As I mentioned, we have a representative from each community on the board of directors, and every board director is an equitable position, so it doesn't matter how large your utility is. We have 51 board members. I think just to give you an idea of how the collective works and how we plan for resources, again, we're looking at long-term planning, so we make our decisions based on the best long-term interest of all of our communities and their customers. I think this is kind of the report card that we like to show, 2012 on one end, 2025 on the other end. The difference or price increase in 2025 compared to 2012 is about 3%. Just use this to demonstrate that the way we plan our resources and we keep a diverse portfolio, it keeps the cost fairly stable. Just like the stock market, we can't guarantee this is the way it goes forward. The future is sort of unknown, but I think it represents the way that WPPI plans and operates on behalf of the members. Another just illustration of this, looking at, of course, the question that would always come up, what if we weren't part of WPPI? What are all the alternatives? This is just a list of investor-owned utilities and other joint action agencies in the region. The blue line on the top represents the average residential energy rate of our membership. So you have before you an amendment to our long-term power supply agreement. This is, I guess, what I would like to acknowledge is on paper, we are asking for an 18-year extension. And you might be wondering, why would you need a contract that goes out to 2073? That seems like a kind of a crazy ask. So I just want to try to address that. It's not the first time that our members have been asked to extend the contracts. We were formed in 1980, and we did just some joint operations at the time. 1989, we went out and asked members to extend their agreements for 35 years. That was an attempt to, that was the first power plant that our membership purchased together, and we still have that in our portfolio. So what we're getting into here is WPPI finances the same way as municipality finances. We issue bonds, and typically the most cost-effective way for us to do that is to issue 30-year tax-exempt bonds. So anytime we want to make a long-term decision, we need to have at least 30 years of commitment from our membership that the bondholders will get their money back. And so that's what's happening here. In 1989, we extended for 35 years, and that made a couple of decisions. We got to 2002, there were some additional ownership arrangements that we needed to put in place, and we extended for 13 years out to 2037. When we got to 2015, there were only 22 years left, and there were some investments that needed to be made, so we wanted to make sure we had that 30 years plus some additional leeway to continue to plan and negotiate some arrangements. So this will be the fourth time we've asked for an extension. Similar to 2015, we're just looking to have 18 years added on to the current term, which is at 29 years. So again, why 2073? That seems like a really long time. Of course, when you're planning around power plants, the life of a power plant is at least 40 years, probably longer than that, as you make upgrades along the way. So if you are investing in those resources, you want to not only be able to pay those off, but benefit from the full life of those arrangements that are in place. In the next few years, we do have some needs for investment. And so because we're already at 29 years, we cannot issue 30-year bonds. If we do not do a contract extension in this particular year, essentially every decision going forward will be more expensive than if we do the extension. So trying to put that into context. Some of the projects that we're looking at, we have a natural gas peaking plant that is currently in the works. That would be something that will come online in late '28 or, let's see, late '27 or 2028. So again, that would take a 30-year financing, which would put it out past that 2055 time period. We are investors in several transmission projects. We're an owner of the American Transmission Company, and they finance their projects through voluntary capital calls. So WPPI invests in those capital calls, not to make money, but to get the same return that the investor utilities are getting, and then we roll that back into our rates to benefit customers. So while transmission costs continue to make up a larger and larger portion of your electricity bill, we invest in that so that we're kind of offsetting those increases. So that's more things that will come up. We're good through '26 and '27. We just issued some financing recently that will cover these 2 years of our capital calls, and then going out into the future, we'll need to do some more financing if we want to pursue that investment. And then the other one I want to point out here is the yellow bar called energy prepay transactions. You may have heard a little bit about this. It's a financing mechanism available to municipalities and municipal utilities. And without getting into the details, because it gets really complicated, there's a way for us to take some of the arrangements we have long-term, partner with a taxable entity, which will prepay that commitment out. And then there's some IRS benefits between tax-exempt financing and the taxable financing, where we would then split some of the savings that that entity gets. So we have some opportunities to prepay some of the power supply purchase agreements that we have in place. And the timing of those is such that those investors will only want to look out about 7-8 years because the margin beyond that is a little bit unknown. But the expectation is that you would prepay this through the 7-year term and then roll it over, sort of like refinancing your home. They want to renegotiate that agreement, carry it out another 7 years. And then on top of those 7-year arrangements, we always have to have at least that 30-year window to commit to make it a legit tax-exempt financing. So if we do that and we roll it over twice with the 30 years, that's a 40-year term, and that's where you kind of get out to the extended range that we're looking at. So in the absence of extending the contracts, we don't have that available to us. To give you an idea of what that means to our membership, right now we're looking at potentially an 8 to 10% savings on that arrangement that we're going to prepay, and overall that would probably affect rates about 1 to 2%. I don't say it will lower rates 1 to 2%, but it will lower rates 1 to 2% compared to wherever they're going. So it will provide 2% savings over what we would normally do. So I think that's where I'd like to end it. Unless anybody has questions, we can get into more detail if warranted.
Any questions? All right,
Are all-
thank you.
Are all 50 cities getting the same presentation?
Yes. So when we do this extension, as I mentioned, every community has the same contract, the same terms. So we need to do the extension at the same time. Our timeline would be shooting for the end of the year to get all of the members through this process.
Any further questions? All right, well, thank you very much. All right, so with that, we are looking for a motion.
Make a motion to consider approving the resolution amendment number 3 to the long-term power supply contract for participation members.
Motion made by Mr. Beesaw, second by Mr. Barry. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your ballots. That motion's carried 10-0. Thank you. All right. Moving on to minutes and reports, will stand as read in your packets. Next on the agenda is mayor's report. Report that I have is thank you to all of our service anniversaries. Thank you for your service. And with that, we can move on to city administrator, Mr. Hurd.
Thank you, Your Honor. First off, I'd like to put out the word one last time that FEMA has a disaster recovery center set up at the New London Public Museum. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and on Saturdays, 10 to 1 p.m. This is your last call to take advantage of that services. Applications for assistance for anyone who is affected by the April flood can apply, but a deadline is Monday, August 31st. After that, you will not be eligible for any assistance from the flood through FEMA. If you have any questions, definitely go see the FEMA representatives at the Disaster Recovery Center, again, at the New London Public Museum, and a representative there will be able to answer your questions and help you out. And then lastly, I'd like to recognize our Finance Director, Judy Radke, who has completed 32 years of service with the city on July 24th. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Hurd. Chief of Police, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to recognize Officer Pappendorf for 2 years of service. And just a reminder to the community, is going to be back in session the next couple of weeks, so traffic will increase around the schools. For parents dropping off and picking up, pay attention to the school plans in place for those procedures. For those of us just traveling in or around the school areas, beware of the extra traffic, pedestrians, and foot traffic around those buildings. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Chief. Director of Public Works, Mr. Garsky.
Thank you, Your Honor. Wisconsin DOT has closed the south section of Shawano Street Highway 54 intersection. This is stage 2 of that intersection closure, and it is supposed to last 28 calendar days. That puts it back open around September 14th. East-west traffic on 54 will always remain open, as will turn movements to the north of that intersection. Driveway exits 254 for Walgreens and Quick Trip have been blocked off due to safety concerns with the large volumes of traffic trying to cut through that work zone. These businesses are still accessible from the south side entrances. The best way to access north side businesses is to take either the 45 bypass exit on Highway 54 or Spur Road, or take East North Water Street to County S to 54. And that is all I have tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Garsky. Director of Parks and Recreation, Ms. Sol.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Parks and Recreation Office will be selling their discount tickets for the Dells and Milwaukee Zoo up until September 1st. So if you have plans to go on a quick vacation for Labor Day weekend to Noah's Ark, please make sure that you stop and buy your tickets as soon as possible. They are a great discount, and the tickets are good for the entire season. Those are available only at our office, and we only accept cash or check for them. And then also the Aquatic and Fitness Center is hiring for all shifts starting at 5:30 a.m. until 9 p.m. The paid training is available on site, and you can call the pool at 982-8524 and ask for Jim for more information on that. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sol. Director of Community Development, Mr. Deebs.
Thank you, Your Honor. Department issued 40 permits in July, up to 256 for the year through July, as compared to 191 at this time last year through July, so permits are continuing to be up. If you've tuned into any of our planning commission meetings, you're seeing that Chad and I are continuing to work with developers on a variety of projects within the city, so exciting times there. We're hoping to get some of those projects done as soon as the end of this year and into next year as well. Other priorities for the department include reviewing our current ordinances, trying to identify areas that can possibly be improved going forward, following up on nuisance code violations, and currently working on the 2027 budget. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Deeb. Utility Manager, Mr. Bessett.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have no outages to report this evening, and I have 2 anniversaries. Kerry Kraus with 11 years, and Jack Knights with 3 years with New London Utilities. That's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bessett. And lastly, I see adjournment. Can we get a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Mr. Roberts,
Second.
second by Mr. Barrington. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried by all. Thank you.